Peace, y'all. This is Empress Coach Rena Nicole, and this is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. The one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated, period. Yes, today is Monday, October the 31st, 2022, and our topic today is how to recognize real love. Yes, period. A lot of the times we are in these relationships, situationships, or whatever ships that we're in, and we can't recognize when we are in something that's full of shit, period. So with that being said, we are going to go dive deep into that rabbit hole of finding out what are the qualities and traits or things to look out for to recognize when it's real love. With that being said, I want y'all to kick back and enjoy a few more moments of this chill vibe, and we're going to hop right into our podcast, the AM Inspiration Show, to wake that ass up spiritually, physically, emotionally, consciously, mentally, physically, even soulfully. With that being said, tune in and tune up, period. I'm so happy to be here, y'all. Yes, this is Empress, and we are back. Been going for a few days. I felt I got under the weather, and I couldn't come on here, and drop these bombs for y'all. So I'm so happy to be back. Yeah, just glad to be here. Now, with that being said, today we have an interesting topic going on. Period. And the topic is how to recognize real love, right? Okay. We come up with original content to wake that ass up consciously, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, soulfully, and mentally. Okay. Now, with that being said, a lot of the times we get in these situations, relationships, quote unquote, situationships, whatever ships where you just don't know what the hell is going on. You're just going with the flow, which is completely dangerous. That's a whole nother story. That's not the topic today. So literally when you think about romanticism and love, it can feel completely beautiful, fantastic, balanced. But literally there's a reason why, because so many people in our society, because we are a social society, we're very social, so we tend to focus on love and relationships so much, and they don't talk about the real part of love and relationships, like the work that goes into it, things of that nature. Okay, so because love is unconditional, right? But relationships is how you recognize real love, how you show up in relationships. Now, people can say they love you all they want to say it. They can tell people they care about you. They can even tell you they care about you. But if they're not showing up for you in relationships, they're not showing up for you in life, daily life, every day, they're not showing up for you, then that's when you start questioning. Like, okay, what are your intentions, right? So, because that part of love, the relationship part where you're connected to someone else, that can be extremely painful, frustrating. It can even turn a little vibrational. It can even be high vibrational. It can be wonderful. It can be the most thrilling experience you ever had in your existence. It's that ebb and flow of loving relationships that we're going to speak on today, because love is completely unconditional. Um, but relationships have conditions. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to speak on today. And that's the part that people do not like, because it can certainly give you a lot of rewards, and without the effort and that willingness to receive and accept challenges as a part of the process, um, you're really not going to get anything out of it, right? So when you love someone, you literally choose to nurture the first strings of attachment, right, and attraction, and feeding those early feelings and strengthening them to weather the stressors to come, if they come, right? You know, the work involved is not going to always feel like, oh, this is so easy, it's so free flowing. It takes a lot of commitment and dedication, patience, respect, all those things, right? Because people often say, you just know when someone loves you, right? And there's some truth to that, even though it might not show up in extravagant gestures that you see in the media. Like a lot of romanticism that's projected out in the media, it's hard to be like, oh, I'm in this relationship, so this person is not showing up for me like the way I see it on TV, so they don't love me. Some people get so lost in chasing that romanticism that when they're in relationships with people that actually possibly love them, they feel like they're not loving them, and this is because they're not able to show up in a relationship and show someone and also tell someone how they need to be loved, because they're not aligned with their true self. That does play a role. That does play a role when you're not aligned with your true self and you feel like you're never satisfied in relationships. So it's hard for people to gauge on how you need to be loved. So one of the number one things that you feel when you recognize real love is that you feel safe with someone. Okay, because safety is the cornerstone and the foundation of a loving relationship. Literally, a partner who loves you won't physically hurt you or damage your possessions. They also won't threaten or pressure you into doing things you don't want to do, or making decisions for you, um, or cut you off from your social support groups, right? So feeling safe also means feeling free to make your own decision and expressing yourself without fearing their response, right? So when you share opinions and goals, you receive encouragement, not put downs or criticism, or not dead silence. It's like you're telling someone you did something great and stuff like that, and they're just quiet. Or something happened and they're not supportive. They're not saying, oh, are you okay? Sorry that happened to you. What do you need from me? Oh, it'll be all right. They're not offering you anything, just dead silence. They don't care about you because they're not a safe space. It's not okay to be, and then you start to feel like it's not okay to be vulnerable with them, period. Okay. Because everyone experiences like those ticks in relationships that can be annoying, or frustrating on occasion, right? Because we're human beings, we're having a human experience even though we're in relationships. Okay. And it's possible to express anger in healthy ways. So a partner who actually loves you won't threaten you or use anger to punish you or make you feel afraid. You know, they might agree right away to get help if they get really angry, like, and they have an angry outburst. We're not talking about like violent. They're just saying like, you know what, I'm going to get help for that. Not only to improve themselves, but also because they saw that you were afraid when they, responded that way, and they want to and make sure that the relationship they have with you is secure still. So they want to do that for themselves and for them in a relationship. Okay, it's not just about them. They don't only want you to like, oh, you're angry and I messed up, and they don't want you to sit there and just take the blame for everything. That's not healthy, and they're not there for that. They're not okay with you just lessening yourself in their eyes to be valuable. They're not okay with that. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so the next thing that they will do, someone to recognize how someone actually loves you, they'll listen to you. A partner who loves you will take active interest in the details of your life. If they only want you to be interested in them, if they only want you to support them, if they only want you to show up for them, if they don't never make a fuss about you, if they're never showing up for you, if they're never supporting you, they're probably jealous of you. They're probably envious of you. They probably don't want you to be the light that you are because they want that light for themselves. Okay? They'll actively listen to you by asking you questions and waiting their turn to share instead of immediately diverting the conversation towards their own experiences or towards their own desires. You'll get the sense that they really care instead of feeling brushed off or distracted by, or wow, or oh, that sucks, or oh, who died? Okay? So while they may not hear or remember every word you say, they'll generally have a pretty solid awareness of the things that matter most to you, your likes and dislikes, your hopes and your fears, your friendships and your family relationships, and so on and so forth, right? Okay? Period. In healthy relationships, a partner will acknowledge the low vibration as well as the high vibration. They can acknowledge that without trying to play the blame game. Okay, oh, it's your fault, or oh, I did this because of you. No, they can recognize. You know what? I might have messed up. You know what? That time you did that, it made me feel uncomfortable. They're okay with communicating these things because they understand what's at stake here. They understand that losing this relationship is not negotiable. They're not here for that. They're here to, stay with the relationship, to build with the relationship. They're not okay with going for days and weeks without talking to you. They're not okay with that shutdown and that breakdown of communication because they understand the risk that it possibly is going to make them lose you. They're not that self-centered. They're not that self-involved. They're not that self into themselves like that. That conceited that they feel like they can't, say, you know what? I noticed some shit is going on. Let's talk about it because this breakdown in communication, this shutdown right here is putting us at risk of losing each other. It's putting our relationship at risk of failure, of breaking down. And I'm not here for that. I didn't put all this work in for that. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. That's a healthy relationship because when you bring up concerns and relationships problems, they're considering your feelings instead of ignoring you, like hanging up on you, or making you feel like you're fucking discarded, or making you feel like you don't matter, or making you feel like you're a non-factor to them. Stop having people in your life that don't listen to you because they don't respect you. That's why they don't listen to you. They hanging up on you. They're not that like if something happened. They're not asking you how you doing. They're not asking if you're okay. They're not calling to check up on you. What do you need these people in your life for? They don't love you. They don't love you. They want to have access to you to see what you have going on, to find out whether, so they can gauge whether or not you're doing good, but just not better than them. Okay. And if they feel like you're doing better than them, they're going to say some shit to make you feel down so they can feel like they're back on top again. So be mindful of people that don't listen to you and don't feel safe because they do not love you. I don't care if you lay next to them every night. They don't love you. And that's a dangerous place to be because these kind of people are unpredictable. Okay. And they will always sacrifice you first to keep themselves alive. Whether it's financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, okay, soulfully, mentally, they will always sacrifice you over themselves because they think too highly of themselves to give a fuck about you. Point blank, period. Okay? Listen, people that love you and listen to you, they are not going to want you to be stressed out. Okay? I'm going in today, period. It's been a few days. We've been going for a minute and we back with the jump off. Period. Okay? So another thing is that they acknowledge your differences instead of trying to change you. Like, what the hell you look like showing up to a relationship trying to change somebody? Okay? Like, what do you have to show up to a relationship trying to change somebody for? What is that going to serve? How is that going to help you? How is that going to serve you? Yeah, keep that in mind though, because uh excuse me, no matter how much you and your partner share, um, you're different people. You're not the same person. So you're not going to feel the same way about everything. Someone who loves you will accept your individual ideas and feelings as a part of who you are. They may engage in some respect, like in a respectable debate with you, but they'll show you interest in your perspective instead of insisting you take their side. Someone who loves you is not going to sit there and tell you that, oh, you're wrong, oh, you're stupid, you have no idea what you're talking about. What I'm saying is the right way to go. You should follow my lead, follow my direction, when their direction is not, balanced, when their direction is not in harmony, when their direction is not lawful, or the way, or based on principles or moralities that you may follow yourself. They understand that you are a different person and that y'all can meet in the middle. Point blank, period. Someone who loves you understands that. They have an understanding for that, right? So a loving partner will offer guidance and advice when you ask, but they won't try to control your choices or behavior. Okay, that's not leadership. That's not balance. They also won't withhold affection or criticize you until you agree with them. A lot of people shut down. They don't want to give sex. They don't want to give conversation. They don't want to text you back. They don't want to call you. They want to punish you if you don't agree with them. They want to punish you if you're not in alignment with where they want to take you, and they don't want to consider your side. So be mindful of people that do these childish things, because they're not showing you love. They're showing you low vibration, and they're not showing you alignment. Keep that in mind, okay? If someone has to gaslight you or make you feel low just so you can agree with them and go with whatever they're offering, then it's not love. Okay? So you'll feel comfortable when you're agreeing with them or when you're disagreeing with them. It's like a feeling of comfortability, like, okay, I'm still safe here. I'm still safe in this relationship. They're still listening to me, and they still acknowledge our differences instead of try to change me. So those are a few things that you would recognize when having something that you disagree with. The next one, of course, is effective communication. Um, if you are in love with someone and you want to recognize, like, okay, how, is this person love me, or how to recognize, does this person love me? Your communication is ebb and flow, because love requires a lot of things. Like I said, love is unconditional, but that loving relationship requires things. Okay, it requires open and honest, effective communication, and that does not mean you had to share every single thought and feeling that you have with someone. um Everyone's entitled to have their own private feelings, and there's nothing wrong with keeping things to yourself. Okay. um Having a partner will probably, do things that will make you feel frustrated, make you feel low vibrational over the course of a relationship, because that's how the ebb and flow works. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. You get what I'm saying? And whether or not that's someone who snores loudly, or someone who's so caught up in TV that they forget to do something. Like, oh, the dinner got burnt because you put dinner on in the oven, you told them to get it out at a certain time, and they just were sitting there playing their game or whatever, and they forgot to get it out the oven. Okay, so now you come home from work or whatever, and it's just, ruined and destroyed. So you're gonna have to realize, oh, you can't just, I'm gonna break up with them because they burnt dinner. That's not how relationships work. Okay. um so a lot of the times you find it more productive to vent to a friend about like minor irritations, instead of picking every little fight. There's this saying called pick your battles. So you don't even have to go tell a friend. If you have a therapist or something like in your life of that nature, you can talk to your therapist, you could journal. um I think it's way healthier to address it with your partner. If it's a reoccurring annoyance, like something that's in repetition, they're always doing things that's careless, um or even when they're doing things that feels good, just communicate with them, like, baby, I love when you treat me this way, or baby, I love that you encourage me, I love that you show up for me. It doesn't always have to be a thing where you're only addressing your partner when there's something wrong. Like, that's just like being a parent. Like, who wants to be in a relationship where you're only addressing them when it's an issue? Address people and let them know that they're valued. Let them know that they're valuable. Um, let them know that they have value, within the relationship, that you see what they're doing, you see their actions, and you appreciate them. Okay, so that's extremely important too, because a lot of time people focus on um complaining or addressing when it comes to communication, but effective communication covers everything, not just issues, like not just problems. It also covers encouragement. It also covers observation. It also covers discernment. It also covers reception, how you receive things, and it also covers projection, how you just put things out there after you receive them, and processing. So effective communication is like, something that's required, and it's necessary, completely necessary. All right. So You have to realize that you can't read everybody's, like, you can't read your partner's mind. So to help relationships thrive, you have to talk to them, on issues that actually, like, put the central focus on things that matter. And if you're the type of person that like to focus on, like to talk about things that matter, please don't talk about things that matter every single day. You can point out a day to the side. Um, this is what people that actually love you, because if someone that don't give a fuck about you, why are you wasting your breath? Period. Okay. um a day to a side to talk about things that actually matter. It's going to take time out of your day. If it's going to take an hour or two, and you think it might frustrate someone, you might get frustrated. Just point out a day where you can just have that day for reevaluating the relationship once a week, where you sit down, you talk about things that happen during the week, frustrations you experience, especially the ones that you experience in repetition. You can talk about those things. But every week, don't say the same thing. Come up with something different to say it in a different way, because sometimes the way we say things, people aren't able to understand them, and other times people just don't give a shit, and they don't respect you, and they don't respect the relationship with you, so they continue to do fuck shit because they don't know how it feels to be in a relationship. So with that being said, if you are continuously addressing things with this person that quote unquote loves you, keep a mental note, even a physical one, write it down. Okay. Okay, so good communication can involve things like discussing your emotions, identifying and addressing areas of conflict, connecting through physical or emotional intimacy, checking in and about relationship boundaries. Hello, because relationship have boundaries. A lot of people like, oh, I tell my partner everything. Oh my God, Empress, I tell my partner everything. My partner knows everything about me. Okay, I don't have no secrets from my partner. All right. And tune it into signals in the body language. Okay. um, Communication doesn't come easily to everyone. Instead of assuming your partner has a hard time expressing thoughts or emotion or doesn't love you, look at their willingness to learn and practice better communication skills, because some people just don't have emotional intelligence enough to have effective communication. And it's just plain and simple. You can learn emotional intelligence though. You also can learn effective communication skills. Some people are just born with the gift. They're born with the gift of empathy. They're born with the gift of actually developing themselves to higher places. They're born with that. Okay. And some people are not. They have to learn it. Now, you just had to keep those things in mind. Okay. So one of my favorite things in the list of how to recognize real love is how they encourage you to do your own thing, right? Because partners should enjoy each other's company. Like, but my whole thing is like, when you came into my life, I was doing my own shit. I had my own friends. I was doing my own thing. I was having fun. When you came in, you were as an addition to my life. Okay. And you have that record, and people, when you come into somebody's life and recognize that you're an addition and you know your role, like, oh, we together, we gonna do this together. You're not coming in their life and, oh, you can't be friends with them. Oh, don't hang around them anymore. Oh, I mean, unless they doing some real foul shit, you would, why would you want to be with somebody that's around people that's doing something that's that foul? Keep that in mind too. Because it's like, you're making choices like that and you trying to change somebody. Maybe you shouldn't be in that person's life, because they was already doing that stuff when you met them. So now you want to come in and play Mother Hubbard or Father Time, and that's not cool. Period. Okay, that's really not cool, guys. Like, nobody needs you to play Mother Hubbard or Father Time. All right, um, because when you came into their life, they was doing their thing. And I get it. Some people are like, oh, I feel like I could upgrade them or I could change them and they doing better when they get with me. If you want that type of drama, then do you. But when you get into a relationship, someone's supposed to add to your life. They don't take away from your life. They just don't. And a lot of people, from my practice, I noticed that even like married couples, people, when they get married, they start taking all kinds of shit away. They take people away from their parents, and they take that Bible verse of uncleaving to cleave to your wife too literally. They feel like, oh, you're supposed to cleave to me now. Like, your husband's supposed to be up your ass like a tampon, sis. I don't think so. Like, he's not supposed to have a life no more because y'all married. Sure, he's supposed to be off building a life with you, but also people take away the human experience. They feel like, oh, because I'm in a relationship, this person's supposed to be stuck on me like crazy glue. Everything in their life I'm supposed to be involved with or supposed to have knowledge on. And that's really not the case. That's really not the case of healthy, sustainable relationships, because sustainable relationships identify that people are people and they have their own existence. They have things that they like to do on their own. They have friends they like to do things with. And we're talking about healthy relationships. We're talking about healthy instances of interactions with other humans, with the community. And it just doesn't involve your partner. You might invite your partner to come sometimes, but it's not a thing that's about you and your partner. It's a thing that's about you. And your partner has appreciation that what that thing is about them. Say for instance, me, I like to sew. I like to make clothes. I've been doing that since I was a child. I like to make jewelry, intentional jewelry, and I love to paint. I'm not really going to invite my partner to sit there and make jewelry with me or sew or make clothes. I'm just not going to do that. If they want to do it, fine, but I'm still going to side item like, hello, this is my time. Or when I'm writing my books or writing blogs or stuff like that. I mean, their input is nice if they want to read it and give me some constructive criticism. That's cool. But other than that, I'm like, fuck off. Period. Like, hello? Like, this is my space. Imagine me making herbal medicine and someone that doesn't know shit about making herbal medicine comes along into my herb kitchen and start telling me what the fuck to do with my herbs. Like, hello? I was doing this shit way before I met you. Go sit your ass down over there, Charlie Mack. Like, hello? And it's okay to have those boundaries around the things that you love in your existence. And it's not saying that you don't love your partner. It's not saying you don't want to include them. But some shit is just for you. It's just for you. This is like you doing a yoni steam. You're not going to tell your boyfriend, oh, come sit in the bathroom with me and stare at me while I do this yoni steam. And some women do that. That's their choice. But what I'm trying to say is it's okay to do some shit by yourself. It's okay to be fulfilled on your own and still be happy in a relationship. And because when someone that loves you, they want to see you do your own thing. They want to see you at your most best self. And they know that includes you spending time away from them. And they also know that includes them spending time away from you. Period. Okay? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So you have to recognize that you have separate identity outside the relationship and support. Like you can support each other and spend time seeing with friends and pursuing your own hobbies. Because when you don't, you start to feel suffocated. You start to feel like everything is about your partner or everything is about the relationship, and that's just not how you stay healthy. Okay, that's how you become that woman on pause when you're stopping your existence to fulfill the needs of a relationship and you're not fulfilling the needs of yourself. You're skipping over those physiological needs, those safety needs, and that Maslow hierarchy of needs is not being met, and then your relationship have even more issues because your needs are not being met. On different areas on that pyramid. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so when you maintain your own friendships and interests instead of looking to for your partner to entertain everything for you or fulfill all their social needs, it matters when you're still maintaining that for yourself. Okay, you don't have to your partner doesn't have to agree with the way you spend your time, long as you're doing something that's safe and that's not really something that's concerning. You know what I'm saying? Like spending time with people that like you may do things that are illegal or things that can get them into trouble, or someone who's just plain old really low vibrational and they have nothing to offer you as a person, or someone who's done a lot of things to you that were low vibrational and may have got you into trouble or just not treated you right. And your partner mentions that, and they have a concern that, hey, I love you and I'm just looking out for you. I don't feel like that's a safe place for you to be. You should keep those things in mind as well, because I don't feel like that partner would be trying to change you or control who you're around. They would just trying to like or influence you. They would just remind you that this was your experience with them. So use your discernment the next time you say you're going to go out with them. Use your discernment because it can turn from nothing into something really dangerous really quickly. Okay, so keep that in mind. Excuse me. So a lot of the times, your partners can set boundaries for yourself and say things like, I don't want to hang out with you when you're drunk, you know, um, and they don't want to control your friends or your choices or your behaviors. They just know that when you're intoxicated, you're just not the person they want to be around. They may feel embarrassed. They may feel like this is not something I'm interested in. You go hang out with your friends and you be drunk, or if you go out in the living room and you're watching the game and you're drinking, yeah, stay in there with that. Let me lay down in my room and I'm chilling. I don't just gonna lock the door. You have your fun with your friends. When everyone leaves, I'll come out. I'll help you clean up if you need help. That's what you want to do or whatever. But I don't want any parts of that. It's okay to set boundaries on things like that. Okay, it's up to you on how you take that information and break it down. Okay, so one of the number one things, the foundational issue is trust. Right? You trust each other because first of all the things we talked about, like feeling safe, and the other things that we discussed, Okay, so you can't feel safe if you don't trust someone. And in order to be vulnerable with someone, you have to trust them. Like I said, like you like something if something happens in your existence and you're telling your partner or the person that's supposedly like your queen, your empress, your emperor, your king, whatever you want to use, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever language you want to use. And they're not receptive to that. They're not like, "Are you okay? Is there anything I could do? How are you feeling? Do you need anything?" They're not encouraging you to be more vulnerable. They're not being vulnerable with you. They're not showing their care. They're not asking those questions. It's it's kind of like, did this person really love me? Why are they here? Because trust, it really develops over love. Um, it develops like at the same time because you can't find one without the other. It's just like one of those things, like you can't have the left foot without the right foot. Okay, so a partner who loves you will likely trust you unless you betray them. Like we always say, once you break someone's trust and betray trust, you can try to put it back together, but it's like a broken glass, like a champagne glass that got broken. You can put it back together, but it'll never look the same again. Okay, so a lot of people are insecure in relationships, and they think that's okay because they feel like that. That's the part of being in a relationship. Checking phones, checking social media, causing drama, whatever. And that's their relationship. I'm not gonna go into detail about that because that's not the topic. Is not about that. But just keep in mind that someone that don't trust you or is going to behave like they don't trust you. They're going to behave in ways that show you they don't trust you. Plain blank, period. That's just how it's going to go. So if you have no reason to believe them and you've been dishonest, um, or they had no reason to believe you, you know, and you've been like they've been not excuse me guys, they've been dishonest. Um, and it's like all the time you're going back and forth, where someone is like they're accusing you of cheating, they're accusing you of lying, or insisting you go everywhere together. They're not giving you that wiggle room, that space to breathe or to actually live your life. That's just too much. It's doing too much, literally. Because trust means that you feel safe enough to share opinions, emotions, open up about the challenges that you face every day, and to also ask for help. Okay, so if your trust is not making you, like, if it's not helping you, and if you feel misled, deceived, or betrayed, so it's not going to hold. It's not like you're not going to trust them. It's not going to stay. It's not going to, like, oh, you're not going to trust them anymore. You just, like, once you start saying words like misled, deceived, or betrayed, trust is no longer there. Okay, vulnerability is no longer there. You start shutting down and you start losing respect for people. Okay, because love remains where trust has shattered. So you can sometimes rebuild the trust, but it will never, never, ever look the same because you're going to need time, transparency, and a lot of work. And that's where people just fall off the bandwagon. You give them opportunity, you give them chance after chance, and they still fuck you, and they don't want to do the work, and they don't want to show up, and they don't want to be empathetic, and they don't want to care about you, but they only want those things for themselves. It's like they come in like the damn Cookie Monster, and they want cookie, 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 and that's all they care about is cookie, 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 and they don't want to give any fucking cookies because they want all the cookies. Hello? Is this thing on? I need a moment. Woo! Okay, enough with the cookies, right? And you're like, what the hell? Exactly. They just want to. They want you to give, 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 give. They want all the time. They want you to give them all the transparency. They want to be able to open up about all their emotions and what people that did to them in the business world or what people that did to them at work. And they want you to listen and take it all in. And after they betray your trust, they still want you to be that way. But they don't want to give. They don't want to give that energy back to you, even if they're the ones that hurt you. They don't want to give you time to actually trust them again. They don't want to show you that they're trustworthy. They think that they can just like turn off a switch and shit gonna go back to normal. Hello? So these are the people that, like, they don't love you. I don't know why they're there. It's probably for control. It's probably for manipulation. It's probably to possess you. But to love you, to nurture you, to see you grow, to see you do better, no, absolutely not. Period. Okay? All right, is this thing on? Hello? Okay, so keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind, okay? Because literally the next thing on the list is they make an effort. Because, like we said earlier, when people are not making an effort to make a relationship work, they are not there for a relationship. They're not there for a two-way relationship. They're there for someone to love them, for someone to nurture them, for someone to listen to them, someone to follow their lead. They're not there to balance. They're not there to heal. They're not there to restore. They're not there to sustain. They're not there to elevate. They're not there to grow. Their intentions are not good and they don't love you. Period. Okay. Um, Attraction can happen in an instant. Okay, and you can get those love chemicals going off in the brain like dopamine, epinephrine. I can go down the list. You know, maybe we'll do the chemicals of love this week. Okay. Um, but lasting love requires time and commitment. And like I said before, a lot of people, they want to be with you. They want you to do things they want you to do. They want to have access to you, but they're not willing to put in the time and commitment and what it takes to actually have you, a loving relationship with you. They want to only have access to you when they have the time, when they think about you. They don't ever want to prioritize you. They just want access to you. So fuck them. Period. We all want today. Period. Okay? Period. We done went down this whole entire list of how to recognize how someone loves you. Listen, if they are showing up and they don't want to give you time and commitment, they do not love you. They do not love you. Stop questioning shit. They don't love you. If they only want access to you when they want access to you, they don't love you. They love them. Period. And they understand they can use you. Hello? Hello? They understand they can what? They understand they can use you. They understand they can have access to you whenever they want to because you don't have boundaries around your life or around your existence that keeps them out because they're not showing up how they need to show up. Period. Okay? And it's that simple. It's really that simple. Because it may seem romantic when someone immediately decides that you are meant to be with them or they think they love you. Okay? They think they love you. It's a thought. Okay? It's not a damn feeling. It's not a fucking action. It's just a thought. That's all it is. After just one day. You know, but that really suggests someone who's controlling and manipulative, someone who loves bombs you. You just met them and now y'all in a relationship. You just met them and now y'all living together. That's not healthy. There's nothing about that that's healthy. There's nothing about that someone took their time, that they have the mental capacity of an adult. That someone, and then they get stuck with people. They have children with them. They marry them. And they realize later, oh, they don't even want to be with these people. They don't even like them. But they want that look. They want that image of a relationship. They want that image of a marriage. They want that look in society so they can get the resources, they can get the benefits, but they don't want no partner because they don't treat people with respect. They don't have a lot of integrity. They don't show up in society, they don't show up in their relationships the way they show up in society, excuse me. Period. It is really that simple. So if you recognize that someone's only showing up for you for the image of love and relationships, they don't fucking love you. They're using you for an image. They're using you for the resources you may provide for them. They're using you as a doormat if you don't have boundaries over your life. Period. That's it. You have no value for them except for your tangible assets. And that's completely dangerous. Completely dangerous, okay? Period. I'm definitely on one today, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's coming out of me. It's just like the ancestors is coming through and it's just flowing out of me. So listen, share this podcast. When you run across this thing, share it. Hello? Okay. Because when someone that's romantic, like that's controlling and manipulative, they always go, oh, let's move in together. Oh, let's have children together. Oh, let's get married right away. Right away. Now let's just take our time together. Let's see where this is going to go. Let's set out our intentions. I don't care how much we have in alignment. I'm not just moving in with you. I'm not just having sex with you. And I'm not saying that people have to have my standards. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. We're talking about how to recognize that someone loves you and whether they're someone who doesn't love you right now. We're at the little tiny part of the little flip side of the time, the duality part, where if someone is literally love bombing you or just like, let's do all these things so quickly and fastly when they're not even getting to know who you are, that's a sign of manipulation and control. You may feel like, oh, he swept me off my feet and he's so in love with me. And now you're getting the shit beat out of you, unfortunately. or just being controlled and manipulated. You don't have any friends anymore. You don't have access to your friends anymore. They don't have access to you anymore because this person that cut your access, you know, and vice versa. It can be flipped to each gender. Okay, we're not going gender on here, genderless actually. Either side, male or female. Hello, because so many people in the world have the idea of what the one and only instant love, you know, and it can seem real like iffy. So soulmates can exist. It's important to recognize that love typically doesn't happen in a flash. Love, it has to be sustained. It has to be built. It's a foundation around it that cultivates it, that protects it, that helps it to grow, right? And when that foundation is already fucked up from the start, you ain't really gonna grow nothing that's gonna be sustainable. No matter how many times you try, I recognize that. You know, I was thinking this weekend, like, you know what? A lot of times we show up and we get nothing back. At what point do you just say enough is enough? This person is never gonna love me the way I love them. And I know the meaning of more than they love you. Just don't. It doesn't apply to every single aspect of your existence, but we're talking like when you're in a relationship and you're building one and you're just always showing that love, always showing that support, and you're never getting any of it back. That could be extremely problematic. It's not like you're going in and expecting that thing. It's just ebb and flow. It's how things work. And the fact that people feel like it's a problem that with ebb and flow, like, are they really mature enough for a relationship anyway? These are a lot of things you have to ask yourself. Like, who am I in a relationship with? Is this person mature enough to handle a relationship when they're like getting an attitude because I'm expecting the bare minimum of like, are you okay? How you doing? Is there anything I could do for you? And it gives them an attitude. Come on. Come on. You deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. You are worth more than that. And your value exceeds that. So keep that in mind the next time you run into some dusty stuff like that, okay? Period. Okay? You just need to keep that in mind. Someone who truly loves you, right? There's a few things they're going to show up. They're going to show up, right? So they're going to prioritize your time together. They're going to express interest in getting to know you. Hello? They're going to be prepared to talk through disagreements or conflict, and they're going to agree to try new things together. They're also going to express their commitment to mutually like grow with you as a partner. All right? And they are going to make sure you understand that. If they got to repeat themselves, they got to write you a letter. They got to just like sit there and just wait for you, you know, to talk. If you're just going off on them, and they're going to like, okay, you know what? I'm here. I'm right here. You know, as long as you're not, you know, you're not disrespecting me. I understand your emotions right now. You know, I'm here for you. This is, you know, thank you for saying that. I'm processing that. And then they'll let you know, like, if it's okay if I share with you now, you know, not to take away, not to invalidate you or what you're saying and how you're feeling, but it's okay if I share with you about how I'm receiving this conversation when I process it. Sure, baby. Okay. Now you have open and effective communication, okay? Because that processing might not happen right then and there. It may happen a couple days later. It may happen a couple weeks later. But just know it's going to happen because they took it in, and you know they're going to process it, and they understand how you're feeling, and they're empathetic towards you. That's a healthy relationship. Okay, so just keep that in mind, okay, because you deserve that. So um with that being said, another thing is that you know you can collaborate or compromise. Okay, conflict doesn't necessarily make a relationship unhealthy, but the way you show up to conflict definitely makes a difference. Okay, things like hanging up on people, acting like, oh, you're the only person in a relationship that matter. You only want to talk about your accomplishments. You only want to be praised by your things. You don't praise them. You don't, you know, even if like it boils down to even social media, because we use social media a lot. You only want them to share your posts. You don't share their stuff. You don't say congratulations on their posts. You don't like them. You just want to be highlighted in everything in their life. You want to be the center. You want to be the person up on the stepping stool. You want to be put up there and, you know, a high, and be saw as a high caliber person, but you don't return that same energy to them. You only return that same energy to people you feel like can benefit you in your business or your person or in your life, personal or impersonal. But you highlight other people, but you don't highlight your own partner. Okay, so that's kind of weird. That's real weird. Okay. And it does not really suggest someone that's in a loving relationship. It suggests someone that's a user and a manipulator. Because someone who loves you won't look at you with contempt. They won't look at you with envy, and they'll insist. Um, they won't, they won't be like, you know what, you are you're wrong, or you're right. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, and they'll just hang up on you. They don't like someone that loves you, respects you, even if it's something they don't want to hear. They're not just gonna bang on you. They like, you know what, I gotta go because right now it's just too much for me. I can't handle this right now. And I'll call you back later. They're not just gonna hang up on someone while they're speaking to them. They're not gonna disrespect them like that. They're not gonna make them feel disregarded because, like I said in the beginning on the first thing when we talked about safety needs is that they understand the risk that they're putting themselves when they behave like an asshole, the risk of losing you in their relationship. It's a difference between having debates and arguments, but disrespect is just like a non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable. And for some people, that's an absolute too. Like for me, that's an absolute nowadays. I don't have to take that shit. I was just like, why would I just continuously put myself in a position for someone to fuck me over, for someone to disrespect me, for someone to disregard me? That's not love. I don't see that as love. I'm not attracted to it. It's not attractive. It's not cute. It's not masculine. It's not anything that I would be find attractive in a partner. It's not anything healthy. So why would I actually continue to expose myself to someone who disrespects me, to someone who doesn't care about me, to someone who's not concerned about my daily life, to someone who's not concerned about my family, to someone who's not concerned about how I feel, to someone who doesn't want to help me through things, to someone who doesn't want to help guide me. It's just something that's just not there. It's just something that just will never be there. So if you can't collaborate and compromise and be supportive, if it's not a ebb and flow with support, listen, like if it's not even ebb and flow, if it's not mutual and reciprocal, then it's just like it's not negotiable. And that's for me, that's my standard of love when it comes to relationships. Because that's my boundaries. That's listen, that's my conditions. Relationships have conditions. Love doesn't. Relationships definitely have conditions, okay? Period. Okay? Hello? Relationships definitely have conditions. Love can be unconditional all you want it to be. Okay, I can unconditional love you and never fuck with you again. Okay? But when it comes to relationship, it's conditions there, baby. It's boundaries there and it's standards. And it's absolutes and it's definitely non-negotiables. Okay? So like I said, when someone's treating you beneath your standards and someone's crossing your boundaries all the time with no indignation of wanting to do better, now we have a problem. Because they're not in the energy of collaboration. They're not in that energy of compromising. They're not in that energy of ebb and flow. They're not in the energy of reciprocity, okay? They're in that energy of manipulation. They're in that energy of using. They're in that energy of control. They're in that energy of bare minimum. They're in that energy of struggle love. And guess what? You deserve better than that. You are better than that. Your value exceeds that. Period. Hello? Listen, okay? So in healthy relationships, both partners work together in union to find solutions for the areas that they both can improve on. Especially when it comes to communication and intimacy, right? Because that controls mostly the whole foundation of relationships. Okay? So keep that in mind. So you can take a few punches, like, okay, this is where we're not going to connect here in a relationship again, okay, just to keep the relationship healthy and flowing and going, but you shouldn't be the only one giving up shit. You shouldn't be the only one sacrificing things. Because I notice a lot of times that support medium is literally like for women, it's always like that tangible thing, especially for Black women. It's like our tangibility meter. Oh, we're only valued when we're tangible or utilitarian purposes. And that shit is for the fucking birds. Hello? 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 Is this thing going? Let me check. Period. Now, a partner who loves you will make sacrifices of their own and find solutions where you both feel satisfied. Period. Okay? It's just not a one-sided thing. So you out here in these streets looking all stupid, just supporting somebody that doesn't support you, just loving somebody that doesn't love you. It's time to reevaluate. Because you look like a clown. Listen, I'm just being direct today. You look like a clown. Supporting somebody that doesn't support you. Loving somebody that doesn't love you. Caring about somebody that don't care about you. Empathizing with a motherfucker that never show you empathy. Ever. Ever. That's crazy. And you gotta be crazy to continue that cycle of abuse with your own self. It's so self-effacing that we continue to put ourselves in points of access to people that don't fuck with us. And we lay down with them every night. You know, we lay in bed with these monsters that don't give a shit about us. And we wonder why we're so depleted and we're so drained because we don't sit back and take these skill sets that we provided today and reevaluate and look at these points of access that we're allowing people and recognize that they don't love us. And we mask this bullshit that we have in our mind, this fantasy, this romanticism that blinds us with all these endorphins and releases and these road stints. And we stick around, we allow access to ourselves, and we expose ourselves to bare minimum love. We expose ourselves to domestic violence. We expose ourselves to struggle love. And let me be clear on one thing. I'm not blaming not near one victim. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we expose ourselves to people that are controlling and abusive. That's what I'm saying. Period. Okay? That's all I'm saying. We expose ourselves to them when we're not looking for those flags, when we're not identifying them, when we're not sitting down with that shit and processing it. Okay? Now, if one thing for sure and the two things for sure, I know damn well it's hard to get out of a DV relationship. I know that firsthand. So I just want to make it absolutely clear. You know, people like to twist shit nowadays online or look for content where there's no content at all. Okay, just want to make it clear. So, you know, to close up the podcast today, I just want to say, keep that in mind that just keep in mind when somebody loves you when they don't. They show you all the time. They show you. With that being said, y'all, I'm so happy to be back. You know, I've been gone for a minute. I wasn't feeling well. I'm just happy y'all here, you know, showing up, you know, sharing, caring, being present. I just want to say thank y'all for y'all support. I definitely will catch y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard for the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up, you know, spiritually, consciously, physically, emotionally, financially. I am your host, and soulfully, excuse me. I am your host, Coach Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com, Divine Intervention Show, TheCurve.net, The Love Experiences. Okay, so with that being said, I will see y'all tomorrow. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay elevated. Peace, y'all.